Hi there guys, and welcome to another video on the channel. Today we're gonna continue on the renovation of my forge, and what we're gonna do is rebuilding the top part of the bellow. I have already done a little bit of work. I'm gonna show you the footage later on, but for now I'm gonna just talk you through what I already did. So as you can see, I already have the rubber sheet on there. It's already all sealed and airtight, the lower part. And by the way, this material here which I'm using is a rubber pond liner. It is extremely strong and tough, and it works very well for this purpose. And yeah, so as you can see, I have cut out some sort of a rim out of wood, which I use to hold the rubber sheet in place. It's all screwed in there. You will see later on in the footage how I made the rubber pond liner go around the bend. And then you will see that I glued and nailed this rope here to completely seal all the gaps to make sure it's completely airtight. So yeah, I'm going to show you the footage now of how I made all this so far. I'm just going to screw 2 pieces of wood on the inside of this top part of the bellow, just to reinforce this piece of wood because it's quite old. So I'm just gonna screw those on, and you can see I rounded the edges with a rasp just to make sure that if it shouldn't actually happen, but if the rubber liner rubs against the wood, just to make sure there are no sharp corners which could make it wear a bit too fast. Okay, now I've got the top plate all fastened on there, and now is probably the most difficult part of making a bellow like this, is getting the area here airtight by getting this here all the rest of the rubber liner here to fit all around properly so that it is as airtight as possible. And then it's going to be fairly easy. You can see I've actually routed a groove into the edge of the top plate, and then I actually will screw or nail a rope into it with the rubber liner in there, and then that should be already pretty airtight. So I think I more or less figured out a way to fix this end here. I'm going to fold over those 2 ends like this, make them fit more or less. I'm gonna see what I do with this end here, if I cut it off, or maybe I'll just fold it and screw it on with a piece of wood. But then I put a piece of wood like this over here, and then I'll cut a little square out of here so that it fits underneath the lid. I'm gonna make it fit basically into here, if I can show that, maybe like this, and then it's going to be folded over here. Then we're going to have a tiny bit of air coming out here, but I'm maybe going to put some more rubber sheet over it to sort of try and keep as much air as possible into here. But even if we lose a little bit of air, it's not going to be too dramatic, because the rest of the bellow is going to be nice and airtight, and then we're going to have enough air anyway. That's actually a rather large bellow, so even if we get 90 or maybe only 80% of the air through into the actual fire, it's still going to be enough air, so I'm not too worried about that. Okay, I think that's working. I just made a little piece of wood that fits in here, and I'm just going to screw it on with 1 screw. And it's just going to keep everything neat inside here. Yeah, that's perfect. Okay. I just made a hook over here. Just make it hold there in place. And now you just need to make sure you haven't forgotten anything inside, and then we can start closing the bellows. And sealing the top plate and the rubber liner together. So as I mentioned before, I'm going to use a rope here. You can see there is a channel routed which the rope fits in. Then the rope will fit in here, and this will hopefully create quite an airtight seal. Okay, so guys, it's been a while since I last worked on this project. As you can see, I did some stuff without explaining it too much to the camera. From time to time, I like really to just get things done without bothering about the camera too much. But yeah, what I did is, you see, I removed this sort of wooden stage which was made out of pallet wood. It was almost completely rotten, so it wouldn't have been able to support the weight of the forge that's going to come right here, and it would have caused problems along the way, so I just removed that. And then, as you can see, the bellows are now much lower down than they used to be. That's because I noticed that because of the height of the forge, I would have had to install my pipes at a really steep angle, almost like this. And that would have caused problems again for drilling the holes with the screws here and all sorts of problems. So I just brought the bellows down as low as I could without them touching the ground, which is now going to enable me to drill the holes perfectly horizontally, which is what I'm going to do now actually. thing I want to say at this point, of course, it would be easier to drill the holes before you build together the bellows, before it's closed, while you still have access from both ends. Just gonna put in those pipes. As you can see, they fit really well. You have to push them in, which is good, because it means we're not gonna have too much air that gets lost. I put little marks there so that I know how deep I need to put the pipe in, so it's in there all the way. Have a look if any air is coming out. So I'm going to finish off those bellows by fastening the overlapping ends of the rubber sheet on here, just with some planks like this. It's not going to be a very pretty solution, but hopefully it's going to be effective. For now, that's it for the bellow. We're going to leave it like this for the moment, and we're going to move on to the forge. So this is my forge here. I'm going to now have to completely disassemble it. I'm not actually going to film how I disassemble it, because it's not really that interesting, I think. What I'm going to do is just take it apart off camera, and then I'm going to continue filming once I rebuild this this forge, or this fireplace there. Once I rebuild it over in the new location. And this way you will be able to see exactly how I made it. I'm going to make a few changes, of course, because I have to adapt it to how it's going to work now. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm actually going to show how I rebuild this forge in a next episode, in the next video. Yeah, that's it for this video. In the next one I'm going to show how I rebuild my forge. But yeah, for the time being, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Take care.